Here we are. Good morning, everyone. We are at our radio station today. I'm not at our studio. So, which I'll talk about when we go on the air. I know we're late, right? We're going to be live after the top of the hour here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Let's see, where is... Good morning. I know we're coming on late. We're broadcasting from our radio station today. We'll be on the air in just a couple minutes. Hey, guys. Hey, guys. Oh, you have no idea what I've gone through. Hey, Rich. All right, just play the... I got it. Let's just... I should have it now, I think. No? Can you turn it up just a bit? Yes. Good morning. That's full blast. Oh, yeah, just a little bit, yeah. No, nothing. Well... Yeah, I can't hear. Here we go. We're at the radio station. Over here, I got a board up and everything over here. You can't see, but I'll show you guys later. I'm at the radio station, not our own studio today. Hold on. So I am at a severe disadvantage.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The
That's
Steve
right.
Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1. And now, here's Steve Kane.
All right, welcome to the program, everyone. No, not Steve Kane. It's me, Brian Craig. And I know we're coming on the air a little late today, an hour late. I'll tell you all about it in just a moment. I'm Brian. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. And we are on the air late, and we are broadcasting not from our studio, but from the radio station today. And what happened? I got to the radio studio. I could not broadcast for all kinds of reasons that I'm not going to get into right now because it will just aggravate me. And I got to the studio a little later than normal. I got to the studio, I don't know, about 5:45, about that time, because I was live streaming on Instagram on my way into the studio. I get to the studio about 5:45, 15 minutes before showtime, maybe 10 minutes before showtime, and there's some problems. I can't go on the air from our studio. So it wasn't quite 6 o'clock in the morning yet, so I was deciding, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Should I just run a best of? And I said, you know what, let me go to the radio station. So I called Rich Allen up here at the radio station, and I am at our radio station. The phone number is still the same, by the way, 888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. We're at the radio station in Boca, which is really, it's odd and different because we've had our own studio for more years than I want to say. And we have not broadcast, I don't think, from this studio in about 2.5 years because we built a new studio, or we updated our studios at our location, and we were here for a week or two. That was about 2.5, 3 years ago. And it always throws me off a little bit when we're not back in our own studio. But we are at the radio station, and we'll be here with you live today until 9. Apologize for being on the air late. And I'll be here alone. Steve's not going to drive it. The radio station is kind of far from his house, last minute thing, so Steve won't be here today. But I'll be here with you. And I don't even have all of our commercials, so I'm going to do most of the commercials live. I have some of the commercials that I had on a flash drive in my backpack. And so at 6 o'clock, I decide I'm going to come up to the radio station, do the show from the radio station, and I'll play the commercials from my laptop. And then I realized I don't have my laptop. So I had to go by my house, get my laptop, get here, get set up. So I'm a little off today, but that's okay. Lots to talk about, lots going on. All right, well, listen, guys, enough of my whining. Welcome to the program. Again, you are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We are here live. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Okay, there's lots to talk about. You know, John Bolton's whole life has fallen apart in the last 24 hours. And I got to tell you, you know, I almost feel bad for John Bolton, but really I don't. And you know, I'll tell you, I'll go through the details of what happened yesterday. He's lost his book deal. You know, that's part of it. And now he's got a Me Too problem. You know, the way things work, I don't know who would want to work in Washington or have a national political profile like this, because, you know, whenever you are involved in politics, half the people agree with you, the other half hate you like the plague, no matter what your political background is. And then, you know, you throw into it this impeachment trial that's going on, and John Bolton got injected into this by his own doing this week. He really screwed up this week. And he became an enemy of, well, Trump and people that support Trump. And also, he hasn't really been playing ball too well with the Democrats. So his entire life in the last 48 hours, maybe even less, has been turned upside down and destroyed. Now, the first thing that happened, I mean, it's really, I would feel bad for him if he did not do what he did this week. But what happened with Bolton first is President Trump stopped the publication of his book because they determined that it is filled with classified information, and they don't want this classified information out there. Some of it labeled top secret, they said. Okay, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they said. So the book in its current form is done, and as far as Bolton, and he has a $2 million deal. I don't know if he got the $2 million up front. If he did, I hope he didn't spend it, because he's going to have to be giving some, if not all of that money back. But the millions of dollars he was planning on making with his book, that's gone. The book is over. I mean, you know, when the book comes out now, it'll be so edited, it's going to have, you know, a lot of the things that would be interesting to people to go out and buy it won't be in there. So the book won't be worth that much. So his $2 million book deal is over. And that's that right there. Now, if that was the only thing that happened, I mean, that's pretty brutal. You know, I mean, I don't know what John Bolton's net worth is. I'm assuming he does all right. I mean, he doesn't seem to do much work. I hear people talking about John Bolton all the time for like 15 years, but I don't know how much work he's done. I'm sure he does okay, but he was just about to become a multimillionaire just with the book deal. And when the book deal comes out like this, you don't just make a lot of money off of that. The next step is you become a paid pundit for one of the cable news networks. And let me tell you, some of these paid pundits make in the high six figures for doing very little work, sometimes seven figures. And that's money that comes around for years and years and years. So that's gone too. That's gone too. You get to go on the speaking tour. That's gone. So financially, John Bolton's life has just been destroyed by Trump taking away his book deal. But you know, Bolton deserves this. He deserves this because of what he did. You know, I was talking about this on the show on Monday. By the way, it's Thursday, in case you don't know. I was talking about this on Monday. When that story came out from the New York Times about John Bolton's book and it having some allegations in there that Trump told him to withhold military aid, et cetera, et cetera, Bolton made a decision. And the decision he made was to let that story float out there and wouldn't confirm nor deny it. And we talked about this all day on Monday because the book wasn't scheduled to come out until March. the only people that had seen the book were, other than the publisher and John Bolton, right, were the New York Times. Pre-sales of the book were going through the roof. In fact, it might have been the biggest selling book on Amazon right now on pre-orders. Well, that's going to stop because the book is done. And you know, those pre-orders, I did not know this. You can cancel a pre-order. I didn't know that. So people are going to be getting massive refunds now, you know, from the book. But he let that story hang out there because he wanted to keep selling the pre-sales of the book, or at least the publisher wanted him to do that. And over the past couple of days, a lot of people, Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, people that know John Bolton have been saying, come on the show. Let's set the record straight. Come on the show. Let's talk about it. And he let it hang out there. And Trump got pissed and said the book's done. So John Bolton's greed is what led to that. Then, you think it's not enough that he lost his book deal. He's got a Me Too thing happening to him, which I'll after the first break, I'll go through this story. So now he's got the Me Too. And part of the Me Too problem he has, when you see the woman, it was in the Daily Mail, when you see the woman who's making these allegations against John Bolton that make him look like a drunken perv, I don't know what's more embarrassing to John Bolton, the story or the woman who's making the allegations. And, you know, so, you know, when you're accused of sexual harassment and doing things in the middle of the night when you're drunk, and it becomes national news, it's embarrassing. But I think if the person making the allegations looks like Kobe Bryant's wife, it's not as embarrassing as if it is the woman who's making the allegations against John Bolton. So we'll get into that coming up. Again, our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. We're not at the our regular studio. We're at the radio station, but the call-in number is still the same, 888-465-2631. All right, Richie the bus driver, is he on the line? Okay, Richie the bus driver's on the line. Hey, Richie. Yeah, I can't hear. That's what Richie will keep talking forever. I can't hear anything. I can't hear. I can't hear Richie. Richie will talk. I heard him for a second.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Richie. I can hear you now.
Oh,
yes.
okay. No, what I was going to say to you, John Bolton was National Security Advisor, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Closest person to the President of the United States. For him to say that, and he got fired, okay, because they didn't agree, which is okay. I mean, but his ego got in the way. He's not supposed to go and spill his guts. But I have to correct you. It wasn't. They talked about this last night, and the Democrats tried to say what you just said, that Trump stopped the book. No, the people at the National Security Advisors that have nothing to do with the White House. The White House hasn't even seen the thing, but they said there's too many top secret things in that paper that went to them. So that's what happened. It's not Trump. The Democrats try to accuse the president of stopping the book.
I don't think we're getting the whole story on that one, Richie, because on Monday, when this New York Times story was being talked about, it was reported that Colonel Vindman's twin brother, who's also Colonel Vindman, Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, that he is the guy who approves books from the National Security Council like this, and it had gone through this approval process already. So something happened after this story became national news that they came in and said, no, the book's done. And
well, maybe more people looked at it.
No, it went through all the channels. I would imagine it was someone connected to, if it wasn't the president, someone up top. They said, is there anything we can do to stop this book? And they found a way to stop the book, to screw John Bolton, because he's screwing them.
Yeah, well, you want to know what I got? So when you were off the air for the hour, I turned on Fox and Friends. Okay?
Shame on you.
What?
Why didn't you listen to the tape for that hour? Shame on you.
I hate when you don't show up.
I couldn't get in. I couldn't get on the air. I had to come to the radio station. I had to drive here and get set up, man.
Here's the deal, okay? Rand Paul got into it with Chief Justice, and Rand Paul wants to expose the whistleblower's name, and the Chief Justice didn't call him yesterday, and today he says he's going to do it.
Yeah.
So
well, wait. Who said they're going to do what today?
Rand Paul
Is going to do what exactly?
Whistleblower in a question, and Chief Justice Roberts admonished and said, "No, you're not going."
Yeah, I saw that.
Yesterday. Yeah, well, now he's going to do it today.
Well, in what form? On the floor of the Senate?
Yeah, he's going to ask a question and he's going to name the guy's name.
How's Rand Paul going to do that? And I mean, how's he going to? Won't the Chief Justice stop him?
He's going to try to stop him, but he can't.
See, now this is the thing about John Roberts is compromised. Okay, John Roberts. They got to John Roberts, and a lot of people, I've talked about this a lot. And when this first happened back in 2010, I said this on the air the next day, and people laughed at me for years. And now everybody's saying this. So, you know, and you were back there, Richie, so you probably remember. John Roberts and Scalia got into a fight on the day Obamacare came out because at the last moment, John Roberts changed his opinion on Obamacare from it being unconstitutional to constitutional. And we knew then, we knew then that, yeah, well, his legal opinion is what I mean. Yeah, they got to him. They got to John Roberts. He was compromised by the same people that were spying on Trump at Trump Tower. And before the impeachment trial began, I said, you know, the biggest problem we have is John Roberts. He's been compromised. He's with the Bushes. Yeah, and here he goes now.
Yeah, you know that Obamacare really, what happened was, when I remember that he, in its form, the way it was given to him, it was unconstitutional.
Yeah.
He changed the wording to make it constitutional by calling it a tax.
Yeah.
That was him that did
Yeah.
that.
So, you know, they can't, you know, so what John Roberts does, he's compromised. I mean, he got that manila envelope like, you know, like Tom Cruise in The Firm or something. They got to him with something. They don't let him, they don't use him all the time. They save him for big moments like this.
Well, let me tell you, Rand Paul was really ticked. They really got into it, I understand. They really did get into it. And Rand Paul says he's going to do it today because he's heard nothing. He says you just can't. And then the rule is that the senators have a right to ask questions.
That's right.
The judge cannot. He can censor him after. He can jump up, but he's got to.
Well, now this is what my understanding is that a member of Congress can say whatever they want to say on the floor without any repercussions whatsoever.
That's the rule, and that's why the judge is pissed. And this could get to be really fun today if he gets.
Well, you know, this will be an interesting thing because if Rand Paul, he's not the kind of guy that gives up, right? So if something happens and Rand Paul is not allowed to say the name on the floor of the Senate like he plans on doing, he'll come out and try to do it to the press. And, you know, the media, they won't put him on TV.
Already has named him.
But they won't put him on TV today. They won't put him on TV. It's Rand Paul. If he can't say it on the Senate, they're not going to put him on TV because they don't want him to say it on television.
No, but he's going to say it in the Senate.
We'll see. It's going to be, that'll be exciting stuff. But who does John Roberts think he is?
Well, he tried to stop. He said you can't do that, and then Rand Paul gave him the rule that he can do anything he wants. So all the judge is supposed to do is sit and ask the questions.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's going to get to be good today. And
well,
by the way, I don't think they're going to be witnesses.
It doesn't look that way, does it?
No, especially, hey, let me tell you something. Sekulow told him, I'm going to call you. That was unbelievable yesterday.
Well, Jay Sekulow, I liked at the end when he, you know, Adam Schiff made his case when Jay Sekulow said, he said they said 3 days that they made their case, and Schiff said we did, and he's like, well, then you don't need any witnesses, do you?
Exactly. You just admitted you made your case.
Yeah. Why didn't you?
Anyone else? And by, you know, I got to tell you, to me, this is really coming down to the end, and thank God it's coming down to the end. And Schiff and all of them could go to hell, and Nadler, they could all go to hell as far as I'm concerned, because they're all a bunch of liars. And it gets to me. It really gets to me to see what goes on. They have trashed the president for years already. Stop it.
Well,
over a phone call.
You know, when you know this is the thing with Nadler and Schiff. You're hearing from them, but when is the last time you've heard Nancy Pelosi? Yeah, why do you think this? I just noticed this yesterday. Nancy Pelosi's been lying rather low. Why do you think that is?
Probably over in Dania at Dr. Gupta's office getting her teeth fixed.
Oh yeah, getting that extension for the dentures so her dentures don't slip.
The dentures to keep them in her mouth
I don't get about Nancy. Nancy Pelosi is worth $250 million. $250 million. When she's got that kind of money, why does she have false teeth that don't fit?
Yeah, and why does she live in a neighborhood with homeless people?
Well, they're not living within the gates of her home.
No, they're right outside.
Yeah. All right, Richie. Appreciate the call. All right. Yes. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, we are... you may hear a few technical glitches here and there on the show today because we're at the radio station and it was a last-minute thing and we're not really all set up. So we're going to do the best that we can to keep on going through the show today. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done.
You never put your phone on the internet.
For a lot of years
Yeah, I know.
I was afraid of the
Oh, you mean in the chat? Yeah, I know. I didn't have enough room.
You're not online.
What do you mean?
You're not on YouTube.
I see 103 people in there. There's 103 people.
I can't.
Are you guys seeing me on YouTube?
So I scheduled my appointment
'Cause I saw-
next Saturday.
it might be buffering now.
Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they save me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life.
Yes, you can
Don't
see me.
let
Yeah, it's working, Rich.
stop you from taking care
They
of
see
your
us.
teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts.
Make sure
on
you guys
all dental
subscribe.
Procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633.
Our radio station's fine, Nicholas.
BrightonDental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority. At the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic
Well, great,
Medicare
Fred. Thank you.
recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060
Depends on what you're counting.
or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All right, we are back. All right, I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, broadcasting live from our radio station today. So if you call in, you won't get me answering the phone. Rich Allen will answer the phones. And Rich Allen and I, how long have we known each other, Rich? 30 years? I think this is 30 years. I'm too young to know people for 30. I've known Rich Allen probably since 1991 or 92, something like that. It's been a long time, longer than I've known Steve, actually. And Rich Allen, who's answering the phones today, because he works here at the radio station, was with us at the old 1400 WFTL. And, you know, I tell you, funny thing is I remember Rich Allen, he used to do a show on computers back in like 1991, 1992. And Rich Allen would tell everyone the future is computers, and there's something called the World Wide Web, you know, and all this stuff. And we said, what are you talking about? We don't. And here we are 30 years later. I've got an iPad. I've got a MacBook. I've got an iPhone, and so Rich was kind of like the H.G. Wells of the 1990s. He saw the future, right? So here we are, and welcome back. Oh, you know, I got to tell you, this is something people ask me about this all the time, and what they ask me about is hormone replacement pellet therapy. They ask me about this all the time. And the question people ask me about hormone replacement pellet therapy, they asked me two questions. One, they asked me, where are those pellets? And I show them they're in my lower back hip area. And then the next question they asked me, which is so strange, but the people ask me this all the time, do they really work? And of course, hormone replacement pellet therapy not only really works, I was talking about this to someone the other day. It does everything I say and more, because hormone replacement pellet therapy is something you've really got to experience. And the dramatic effect of hormone replacement pellet therapy, what I would compare it to is when I had LASIK vision correction about 15, 20 years ago. I had LASIK vision correction. And I can see things so far away, it's unbelievable. And when I woke up the next day, and I could take a shower and see the clock when I woke up, it was absolutely amazing. That's how hormone replacement pellet therapy is. And do we actually have Dr. Matez on the line? We'll see here. We might actually have Dr. Matez on the line. Dr. Matez, good morning. Do we got him? Well, like I said, it's going to be a little rough today. Hopefully we'll be... Dr. Matez, is he there? Well, I don't know, but I'll keep on... Yeah, there he is. I hear him. Hey, Dr. Matez.
This is conservative Doug.
Oh, it's conservative Doug. Hold on. Do we got Dr. Matez? That's okay. We're very laid back here on the Steve Kane Show. But yeah, hormone replacement pellet therapy. I don't know how Dr. Matez knew to call in. We did not coordinate this. Maybe we're somehow... All right, you there, Dr. Matez? No?
Still conservative Doug.
Still conservative Doug. Don't worry, Doug. Don't go anywhere. Well, anyway, I'll keep talking until I hear Dr. Matez. Dr. Matez, if you'd like to call back, please do. Hormone replacement pellet therapy, as I say, it does everything I say it does times 10, because when you experience hormone replacement pellet therapy, you'll be like, oh my goodness, it's like you've been born again. It will restore your hormone levels to where they were when you were in your 20s. You'll have more energy than you had in your 20s, at least in my case, because as you grow older, you eat better, you don't party, you're not drinking, hopefully, and doing all those things you do when you're younger. I didn't have this much energy when I was 25 years old, I'm here to tell you. It will bring back your sex drive. If you suffer from erectile dysfunction, guys, come on, I know some of you do. Hormone replacement pellet therapy will give you the ability to get and maintain an erection on demand or as needed, right? Which is, of course, when you want it, as opposed to taking a pill and waiting around. It does absolutely incredible work over there with Dr. Matez with hormone replacement pellet therapy. Give Dr. Mitch Matez a call. Now, for listeners of the Steve Kane Show, it is a completely free consultation. 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490. Do we have conservative Doug there, Rich?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, see, they're not used to us being up here at the radio station, so that's why it's going to be a little off today, but that's okay. The show must go on. All right, who do we got? No one. Hello? Who's on first? I don't know. Well, anyway, the phones are ringing. We'll get you guys on the air in due time. Now, hello? Yes, good morning.
No, I haven't.
Oh, conservative Doug. Okay, hey, Doug, how's it going?
All right.
So,
I wanted to call in to agree with Richie, man. Listen to these people. I listened for about a half hour last night, and very annoying. I don't understand. Jerry Nadler comes out and says that Trump definitely reproved it, and nobody on our side says they didn't prove anything. They just let it go and go on to the next question. It's really sickening. I'm hoping that Hannity said yesterday they think this might be over Friday, and I'm sure hoping it will be.
Well, this is the thing, okay? It doesn't matter what they say. This jury is a lot like the O.J. Simpson jury. The O.J. Simpson jury knew from day one they were going to vote to acquit, and in the impeachment trial of President Trump, the jury knows he's going to be acquitted. It's just this is a play that we're seeing here, so it doesn't matter what they say and what happens. He's going to be acquitted.
Yeah, he's going to be acquitted, but still, anybody who's listening is hearing this nonsense from this Jerry Nadler. My God, I can't stand that guy. I think I hate him now more than Chip. But
well,
anyway,
the thing with...
It's a political thing.
the thing with Jerry Nadler, Adam Schiff, and Nancy Pelosi, because those are the three people behind all of this stuff, right? I mean, where are they from? Where's Nadler from?
New York,
Okay, where's Schiff from?
California.
Well, but no, well, be more specific. Nadler, Manhattan, right? Schiff,
Yeah.
Beverly Hills, Los Angeles, and Nancy Pelosi, San Francisco. You have the three most radical liberal, not just the most radical liberal districts in America, but wealthy, right? San Francisco, Beverly Hills,
Yeah.
and Nadler's district in New York City. Very wealthy, very radical, very liberal. So it's really amazing when you think about it. I mean, when you look at a House race, somebody is in the House of Representatives because of just a few thousand people. There's small little districts. Not everyone votes, especially in districts like Schiff, Pelosi, and Nadler, because it's a gift. I mean, look at AOC, the commie bartender. I think, what was it? A couple thousand people put her in Congress, and she's got all this huge platform. So, you know, Schiff, Pelosi, and Nadler are very, very powerful, but they don't represent half the country or 40% of the country. They represent a few thousand people in very wealthy, radical, left-wing congressional districts. They're not the pulse of America.
Yeah, and then Nadler says that Trump wants to rig the election. Them don't want to rig the election, but this whole thing is for them to try to hit Trump in the election. They know they have no case, but yet they're coming up with these nonsense just to try to make it seem like Trump is not electable.
Well,
Sickening, really.
you know, when you look at, you know, what's going on here, where do you think public opinion is? I mean, I saw Donald Trump had like 70,000 people show up to see him the other night in New Jersey.
Oh yeah. I think Trump is getting the.
I mean, who does that? I mean, who gets that kind of crowd to show up anywhere? Thousands upon thousands. Who does?
Unbelievable. I think he's going to be elected by a landslide, but these people are trying anything they can to see what they can do as really as low as you can go.
Well,
Really,
you know, the real,
nonsense.
well, they can go lower. You know, the real question is, when all this is over, do we retake the House of Representatives? Because that's so important. I don't know how they won it back last time.
Yeah, because a lot of us didn't vote. We just think, we got Trump.
Well, you know, here's the thing. You know, there's when it comes to a presidential election, the Democrat vote fraud operation doesn't work well in national elections or statewide elections, okay? You know, where they have the dead vote, the foreign nationals, the multiple votes. It works well in isolated House districts. So because so few people vote in a House district, you know, it's easy to monkey around in a small congressional district. It's difficult to do at a state level. So that's why they can't steal the presidential election so easily as they can still steal the House. I mean, look at all these illegals that they've been giving driver's licenses to in New York, you know. And well, that's about the House race. That's about House races, and you know, you got to think about this. You know, they're undocumented, right? So when these illegals show up to get driver's licenses, they're undocumented. They're trying to get a document, state-issued ID, the driver's license. So how do they determine? Like, I'm renewing my driver's license now. I got a thing in the mail. I got to renew my driver's license. You know, when I got my driver's license last time was after September 11th. All of a sudden, I had to come up with all kinds of documentation. I had to come up with some hardcore stuff. And my wife, we renewed at the same time. And my wife had to produce a marriage certificate to get her name proper on there because it was different than her birth certificate, you know, because her married name is not on her birth certificate. And now I can renew my driver's license. I don't even have to go, right? I can just do it through the mail and online now, you know. And so if you show up in New York to get a driver's license or anywhere else where they give illegals driver's licenses and you have no documents, do they just give you a state-issued ID based on who you say you are and you're as old as you say you are? How does that work? Does anyone know?
I think that's exactly what they're doing.
So what stops someone? What stops someone from getting 4, 5, or 10? driver's licenses, because that's there's one reason and one reason only they give illegals driver's licenses, is so that they can register to vote.
That's right. That's right. Did you hear that congressperson from New York say that they want to get the vote for non-citizens?
Yeah.
For local elections.
They already let non-citizens vote in local elections all over the country. I can't imagine. That's what they started this back in the 90s. They called it the motor voter bill. Register people to vote when they get their driver's license. The Democrats run a long game when it comes to vote fraud.
Oh yeah. Hey, the first thing I ever told you when I first called the show was 50,000 votes were in the machines in Harlem for Mayor Dinkins, and Rudy Giuliani found out about it.
Yeah.
If they can do 50,000, they're probably doing a lot.
But here's the thing, the vote fraud operation in a national election centers around Florida a lot, and Florida has been a swing state for the past few elections, and I've never bought any of that, because we've had Republican governors for 22 years. So how can a state that has a conservative Republican governor since 1998 be going to people like Barack Obama? And it's vote fraud, in particular in Broward County. And everybody remembers election. If you're in Florida, you know about this. On election night 2016, I was watching on CNN. I like John King on CNN when he does the county by county breakdown. They don't really do that on Fox as well. And, there's 67 counties in Florida. Every county in Florida reported in election results except Broward County. Broward County reported in last. They reported in late. And, what was going on there is Broward County was waiting for the call from the Javits Center. Can we stuff the ballot boxes? And, when you watch on election night, sometimes you'll see a race called. If you watch this on election night, and there's only like 3% of the votes in, and you wonder, how do they do that? It's because they have these statisticians, they can figure these things out. And the Democrats have a similar operation. And Governor Ron DeSantis, who got rid of the Broward County Supervisor of Elections with all that craziness that went on in 2016 in Broward County, he appointed a Republican. They are going to be the Supervisor of Elections during the presidential election. He got rid of the sheriff too. See, a lot of people wonder, why did he get rid of Sheriff Scott Israel? He wasn't at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, right? And I think he got rid of Scott Israel as part of the getting rid of the Supervisor of Elections for the next election cycle, because there was so much corruption in the 2016 election in Broward County. So we've got a Republican Supervisor of Elections. We've got a Republican, well, I know he's a Democrat, the sheriff now, the black sheriff of Broward. Yeah. But he's really, DeSantis appointed him. He's really a Republican. He's a Democrat probably for just purposes of getting reelected, or getting elected because he was appointed. So the Democrats don't have their vote fraud operation in Broward County anymore. And they'll still have it here and there in the condos, but they don't have it out 100% like they have had in the past election.
I think they got rid of the one in Palm Beach as well.
There's a Republican that runs the Supervisor of Elections office in Palm Beach County, which is the second most corrupt after Broward. And those are the two big Democrat strongholds. And that's why Florida has been a toss-up state, because of Broward and Palm Beach County and the Democrats that run those offices. Oh, that's right.
I'm hoping this is going to turn out exactly what we think is going to.
Well, listen, Doug, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Good to hear from you. Now this morning, here we are. We're at the radio station today. We are not at our studio due to some issues beyond our control, which I don't know. Well, hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. I don't know. When we get off the air at 9 today, I'll find out. But anyway, we're at the radio station, and the radio station is on the 5th floor of an office building. And when I was coming up to do the show today, I ran into a guy who's a listener in the elevator who works on the 2nd floor. There's another radio station on the 2nd floor, 1580, which is a Haitian station. And I've been on that station many times. There was some very left-wing, Jean Jabouin and Miss Ivy. Anybody remember them on 1580? Steve and I used to go over there all the time and guest on that show. And Craig Worthing was on that station. He used to broadcast from a trailer park in Davie, the Silver Oaks trailer park, where WSHE was. But now they're on the 2nd floor. So anyway, I run into this guy. His name's Patrick, and he works at 1580. And it's always, maybe I shouldn't say his name because he works at the radio station, but he's listening to us. So he's not listening to his own station, apparently. But he was talking to me in the elevator. And as he got out of the elevator, he says, oh, by the way, I buy my tires at Friendly Tire thanks to you. And, you know, Friendly Tire, I have been a customer of Friendly Tire for over a decade. And I go over there from time to time to talk to Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. I run into listeners all the time, and everyone is so grateful because Friendly Tire charges so little for new tires. They got great deals on used tires too, by the way. They have thousands of used tires in stock, starting at just $30 for most sizes. And the new tires, you hear me go through those prices all of the time. They're unbelievably low at Friendly Tire in Margate. And yeah, I know it's crazy. In fact, when I first went to Friendly Tire, I used to have a Jeep Wrangler, and it was a 4-wheel drive, and it had those big 4-wheel tires on it, and those are very expensive tires. And I found Friendly Tire because to buy tires for a 4-wheel drive Jeep Wrangler was so expensive, and I went over there to get used tires. And when he told me the price of new tires, I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. And then he showed them to me and put them on, and I've been a customer ever since. So give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. His number 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Listed at stevekaneshow.com. By the way, they also do tire repairs. Most places won't do tire repairs, but Friendly Tire does, and the repairs are very, very inexpensive, I promise you. 954-977-9445. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Do you have a long-term care policy that's costing you hundreds of dollars a month? How would you like to have that same coverage with no monthly premium? It is possible. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080, and find out how. Stop paying thousands of dollars a year in long-term care premiums and have that coverage you need and the coverage you want. Call Debbie right now, 954-753-8080.
No calls?
954-753-8080.
Oh, who's on hold?
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority. At the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair
Can you guys hear the
of
train?
high-quality diabetic shoes.
There's a train
with
track
3
right
custom
outside.
inserts
That's
per
just what you want
year.
next to a
These
radio
are
station, a
ugly
freight train, right?
Frankenstein shoes. These are name brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width to
Well,
stop
Butch, come to South
diabetic
Florida.
foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority.
Make sure you guys subscribe, guys.
597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's
They can hear the train.
THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, 42 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show. Do you hear the freight train outside? We're on the 5th floor. That's just what you want at a radio station, a freight train going by. But that's just what you want. All right, let's go back to the phones. Al, you're on the radio. Going once, going twice. That's okay. Yes, Al. I heard you breathing. You're on the radio, man. Go on. You've been doing this longer than me. Chronic call-in radio shows. You fell asleep?
I fell asleep when Doug was talking. I'm sorry.
Well, that's interesting. Don't you have to get up and go to work in the morning like most people? Oh, you don't have a job. I forgot.
Yeah, I'm in D.C. I have a job.
You have a job in D.C. Okay. Okay. Well, you called me, Al, so you must have something to say.
Well, I mean, Pat Cipollone, the White House counsel, is suffering from 2 side effects from being around
One is obviously the loss of hair because of the Trump
Yeah.
frat treatment. And two, when you've been around that long around him, because of the farting and everything,
The farting.
he's getting amnesia. Yeah, Trump frat split. I already said.
Well, you don't fart. You don't ever get gas, Hal.
My gas is not the same as Trump.
Really? You don't think Bernie Sanders at his age ever has gas? You think only Donald Trump farts?
Have you been to the Trump Hotel and had their breakfasts? They're great, except for the atmosphere is inferior.
Uh-huh.
I told you about that a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
When I said that, I had the same avocado. I'm all right. Avocado and eggs.
Who are you talking to? When you said you'll be all right, who are you talking to, Al?
You know,
Hey, Al, when you said I'll be all, a moment ago, you're having a lot of problems here, right? You're misspeaking. You said I'll be all right. Who are you talking to when you said I'll be all right? Yourself?
I only got 4 hours sleep last night.
Well, oh, really? What were you up doing last night? You only had 4 hours sleep? What were you up doing?
Putting up a new website.
Really? What's the new website? Pornhub?
What? Well, no. Progressive Democrats of America will be launching later this week.
The what? The Democrats what?
Downloading files.
The Democrats what?
Democrats promise to America.
Democrats promise to America? What's the Democrats promise to America? What will Democrats promise?
Make America great again.
What?
To make
Oh, to make America breathe again. Come on. Now you're telling us you are putting together.
You know, you're turning 50 next year.
Yeah, I am.
Part of that bill is the Medicare buy-in starts at 50 instead of 60.
No. You're putting together. You say you were up all night, only got 4 hours sleep. By the way, I only got 4 hours sleep too. And I had all this chaos in the morning, and here I am, wide awake. And well, I have hormone replacement pellet therapy working in my favor. You should call Dr. Matez. But you say you were up all night putting together a website called Democrats Promise for America. Is that a .com, .org? What is that going to be?
.org.
Okay, .org. What on your website is the Democrats Promise for America?
Prescription drug prices.
Uh-huh.
Address the climate change problem.
Oh, okay. Tell me about that. How are you going to address... Slow down. You say you're going to address the climate change problem? What is the climate change problem and how are you addressing it?
You got to read AOC's...
Well, no, I've got you. You say you've got this website you're putting together, which I just looked up, and it's Democrats Promise for America.
No, 2.
How do you spell 2 in that? Is it the number 2 or TO? What are you doing?
No, just TO.
Democrats Promise to America.
Download file.
.org. Okay, and it's still nothing comes up. Nothing. It says it could not be found. Okay, I guess they're empty promises. So you're going to address climate change. So what? How are you going to combat climate change?
Well, this Monday, a little weather update. Come this Monday, it's going to be 67 degrees.
I know it's winter time.
67 degrees come Monday.
Yeah.
A spike in the temperature, and it's going to be 67 degrees.
Yeah.
You don't think that's unusual for this time of year?
Where at? Here in South Florida?
No, Washington, D.C.
And yeah, I think that's normal. There's colder days than others. Yeah, the sun's up during the day. So okay, so D.C. is warming. What are you going to do to save it? What are you going to do to stop the warming of the Earth?
Well, first of all, we got to ship Trump over to Russia, so that the
Okay, here's the thing. I listen. You spend your days online, right? I mean, how many hours a day do you spend online?
Many hours a day?
Yeah, on the internet.
Some days, yeah, sometimes some days it's meant just 12 hours, other days
12 hours.
4 hours. Depends on-
Do you know that every time, think about this. Think about this. So you and all of your friends, all your liberal friends combating climate change, spend all your days on the internet, at least 12 hours a day. That's okay. I spend probably 12 hours a day in one way, shape, or form online too. Do you know how much electricity and what the carbon footprint is of being online all day? You know, that takes electricity from coal-fired plants to power the servers around the world, and you're operating on multiple servers probably because you're using websites all over America and all over the world. You know, when the internet was new, before all this global warming scam started, I remember on MSNBC when they were new, they were talking about this. They had one of those technological summits with Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and all that, and Tom Brokaw was there. And they said, now this is in the 90s, before the global warming scam, and they said that every time you send an email, it uses the same amount of electricity as making a pot of coffee. So if you're spending, I know. So if you were spending 12 hours a day online, how much of that is watching porn out of the 12 hours?
Well, you know, you just say every time same as putting on a pot of coffee, as far as...
Every time you send an email, it uses the same amount of electricity as making a pot of coffee. I'm not talking about a Keurig cup. I'm talking about a whole pot of brew, yeah. So if you're spending 12 hours a day online, your carbon footprint probably is quite high because the servers that you were using are powered by coal-fired plants around America and the world. It's not green. The internet is not green.
So in other words, when I send out a couple emails in a day, I'm actually using...
Okay, yeah, you do bulk email. How many emails do you send out in a day? Just emails.
There are days when it costs $1 million.
A million. So you think about that. So you send out as many as 1 million emails a day through your bulk email, by your own admission. Your carbon footprint very well may be more than all of the Starbucks in the city. Because so much electricity is used. No, I'm serious. I'm serious.
Just within 1 mile, just in 1 mile in a radius.
Al, you have got to, when you're using the internet, it's not just the electricity in your home. It's the electricity that's powering whatever servers you're using, whatever other websites you're using. It's a lot of electricity. The people that receive the incoming email, and using websites and being online takes tremendous amount of electricity that is powered by coal-fired plants. So, I mean, if you want to combat the warming climate that you're concerned about, you and your liberal friends should stop using the internet so much.
Oh, if that's the case, then we'll have 4 more years of Trump. I mean, that's not going to happen. I mean,
well, I thought. Wait a minute. I thought you wanted to combat climate change. That the globe is warming. You want to combat it, but you and your friends, through all your internet usage, have huge carbon footprints.
Listen, the Senate is about to commit Harry Carey.
Oh, so you're giving up on the planet? So saving the planet is not as important as getting rid of Trump, is what you're telling me.
There's a confederacy of dunces in the Senate.
Okay. All right, Al. I appreciate the call. I know. He's given up. All right, go back to bed. Yeah. I've had you on for 10 minutes. I got to take a break. I got to run to a commercial break. Yes, all right. Appreciate the call. Now, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and there is no better gift for your Valentine than the gift of a MyPillow. And, you know, when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com, there's incredible deals that you can get on MyPillow products. The buy one MyPillow, get one for free. That is incredible. The MyPillow body pillow, this is have you guys seen the MyPillow body pillow? If you haven't, go to SteveKaneShow.com. And I made a video of me at home that you can see at SteveKaneShow.com. And this is also on my YouTube channel. I received the my Pillow body pillow in the mail, and I show it to you. I demonstrate it, and you'll see me even in my laundry room at home in my garage with it, and I demonstrate the My Pillow body pillow. The My Pillow body pillow is a My Pillow that is the length of a body, so that you can cuddle up with it if you're home alone in bed. It's very comfortable. It has that same patented fill. The My Pillow body pillow, normally $89.99, but when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, just $29.99. That's an incredible deal, right? And there's a lot of other great deals there as well. You can save up to $400 on the My Pillow mattress when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. Now, when you order by phone, make sure the person on the phone, you tell them you're using the promo code KANE and spell it out for them, K-A-N-E, so you can take advantage of these great deals. Again, the buy one My Pillow, get one for free. That is an incredible deal. There's also a buy one, get one free on the My Pillow Giza Cotton Dream Sheets. You buy one set of sheets, you get a second set free, but you got to use the promo code KANE. The My Pillow body pillow, normally $29.99, just $29.99 when you use the promo code KANE. Save up to $400 off the My Pillow mattress. And there's a lot of other great deals there too. Go to mypillow.com, click the radio listener specials, and you'll see all of them. And you can also order at 1-800-716-4879. Don't forget to use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. We'll be right back.
Right now, the U.S. is in the midst of a deadly opioid epidemic. In South Florida alone, someone suffers an overdose every 2 hours, either from heroin.
What's up?
Do you call Cimarelli or does she call?
No, she calls us.
Okay.
The only one I
You
call
do is Youngerman.
Youngerman.
Okay, I got his number in 845.
Yeah.
The gateway to the horrors of hardcore addiction down the road. Drug problems left unattended are only going to get worse. This is not something you can do on your own. You need expert professional help, and if your family is disintegrating in front of your eyes and you feel helpless, I'm here to tell you that help is available. Call my good friend Sal at the Edge Recovery, 561 area code 523-4325. This is his personal cell phone, 561-523-4325. If your loved one refuses treatment, the Edge Recovery will conduct an intervention and get them into the treatment plan that they need. The Edge Recovery offers every option, from intervention to 30-day rehab to sober living to counseling with a licensed therapist.
We're broadcasting from the radio station today. We had a problem at our studio, so we're at the radio station. I'll show you the station later, maybe. Can't do it right now.
Today, 561 area code 523-4325. Again, that's Sal's personal cell phone, 561-523-4325.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities, I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com. And tell them Lori Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Don't forget Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental for Steve Kane listeners. Free exam and free x-rays. Just got to mention the Steve Kane Show. Free exam, free x-rays, and also free second opinions at Dr. Gupta's Brighton Dental. All right, welcome back, everyone. We are at the radio station, at our studio today, which means when you call in, I won't answer the phones. Rich Allen will at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. So people might think they have the wrong number because they're so used to me answering, but no, we're here. 1-888-465-2631. We got Greg there? Oh. Okay, we're having some technical. This was an unexpected occurrence. I called Rich at 6 in the morning and told him we can't broadcast from our place, so that's why we're having some glitchiness on the phone. We are messed up on our break schedule because of being here and everything today, so I'm a little messed up on the break schedule, and I apologize for that. And the next hour, I'm going to try to get us back on schedule. So this is going to be a very short segment just because I need to get us back on our break schedule. All right, let's go to Greg. Greg, you're on the radio.
Hey, Brian, it's Greg.
Hey, what's up?
Listen, first of all, that last call you received from Al, the John, was so pathetic. You know, it's like, hey, these liberals are unbelievable, you know, and how they are, you know, I'm going to change the climate, right?
Yeah.
He's doing a carbon footprint. You know, he drives, who knows if he has a car, but you know what I mean? It's so hypocritical. But as far as, you know what the best thing about the election coming up, and I loved what you brought up, is I remember that vividly. Broward County, we're waiting for Broward County to come in, right?
That's right.
Results. You know, the Panhandle's on a different time zone than us.
Yeah.
They come out with theirs. You know, Ron DeSantis is a key player in this. You know?
That's right.
He got rid of some corruption, and now Donald Trump will win Florida without us having to wait till what? Remember that? Like, it was probably like 11 o'clock at night. Do you recall that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was very late.
Broward County.
Very late. You know, I'll tell you a funny, and we're not going to have that problem. I'll tell you a funny story about Al the John. And this is crazy. This is a crazy story. A couple of years ago, I stopped off at this gas station on 441 on the way to the radio station. And I was approached by a prostitute, right? Which is kind of insulting. Do I look like a guy that needs a hooker? Am I, you know? But I was approached by a prostitute, and she asked me, she propositioned me. And there's a very funny story about Al the John. True story, too. And she asked me if I wanted a date. Was she looking to date me, you think? Did she want? But anyway, I said, no. Then she asked if she could borrow my phone. I said, no. So she walked away and went out on the street and started hustling. And I took out my phone and started live streaming. And I told the story about this hooker. And I didn't show where I was because I didn't want people to know where I was, where the prostitute was and everything. And the hooker saw me filming and freaked out and started running towards the car. Complete blackness. All you could see was, is that crazy?
That's unbelievable.
I know, it's unbelievable.
I tell you that, you know, and the fact that he knew her.
Yeah.
That's
well, you know, I'm extra nice to Al the John, not just because he's a special person. I met him a long time ago. He was one of the first talk radio listeners I ever met. And he was wearing a three-piece suit.
We have met, Brian. We met one time.
Where?
You remember you had a session with a financial advisor at that train station, like in Boca, right off of
Barbara Correo.
Yeah, we didn't speak. You know, I saw you. I mean, we didn't really. I didn't want to bother you. You were standing in the back in the corner, but do you remember that little thing you had like one time at the station?
Actually, the radio station where I'm at is about a block away from that. I'm about 2 blocks away maybe from that train station. Yeah.
I know. My office is only like 3 blocks from you.
Oh, well, maybe I can see you. I'm on the 5th floor.
You're at the Bank of America building, right?
No. That's where William Youngerman is. I'm not going to tell you exactly where I am.
All right, I don't know. I really don't want to know. I'm just saying I have an idea. There's not many office buildings in East Boca that have more than 2 or 3 stories. But that being said, we met one time briefly. We didn't talk.
Yeah.
We just, stood next to each other. But that being said, listen, Ron DeSantis.
So wait a minute. So you and I were sitting next to each other, and you didn't talk to me? You didn't say hi to me?
I didn't want to bother you. I didn't want to bother you. You sounded like you looked like you wanted to be just,
anywhere else?
By yourself. Right. I don't like to bother people, and
it was a personal appearance. I was there to meet listeners. Why do you think I was there?
Like, that was actually like the first year I started listening to your show, by the way. So it's like,
well, you can come to Wings Plus, State of the Union, Tuesday night. Come meet me and Steve Kane. Dr. Lemaski's going to be there, Steve told me. So, yeah, come meet us at Wings Plus at State of the Union.
if I can make it there, because then we can actually meet in person. Like, we've talked for years, and, but I'm not a big person that, like, wants to, bother a celebrity, let's say.
Oh yeah, I know, big celebrity.
Yeah, you're a persona in South Florida. You've been on the air for years.
Yeah.
But that being said, like I said, I'm not one to do. I like to, just leave people alone.
Well, come to Wings Plus State of the Union night and introduce yourself. Say I'm Greg too.
What time are you going to be there?
Well, the State of the Union's 9, so so I would say around 8ish.
8ish, okay.
8ish.
All right, but let me ask you this question. In closing, do you think there's going to be any witnesses? I don't think there's going to be a witness presented at this impeachment.
It doesn't look like it, does it?
I think there, but Roberts is questionable. I don't trust him either.
No.
And I questioned your analysis years ago when you said you think he was bought off for Obamacare. But he changed his mind at the last minute and went with the liberals.
Yeah.
I don't trust.
They got to him. And a lot of people have speculated. They think that he adopted his children. It was a foreign adoption. A lot of people think that they used that foreign adoption thing against him. But I don't know. But they definitely got to him. And him and Scalia got into a massive argument over it, because Scalia was, in fact, when CNN announced the Obamacare verdict, they first Wolf Blitzer was on live, and his first announcement was Supreme Court strikes down Obamacare, and they corrected it 10 minutes later. Because John Roberts caught everyone off guard when he did that, and he's been compromised and is not one to be trusted.
I agree, and you know what? That's the problem that conservatives have. Our judges change their minds. Liberals stick to their agenda. We've had many conservatives that have flipped.
Yeah.
Where.
Well, look, Greg, I looked at the clock, and I gotta run for a break. But thanks for the call, and I'll see you at Wings Plus. All right, listen, we're a little late. We'll take our break. I'm Brian. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show. Don't go anywhere.
The Florida Money Talk Network is 95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470 WWNN Pompano Beach.
Homeowners, would you like to save money each and every month? Of course you would. We all want to save more money. But how? By calling I Will Advisors. That's how. At 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. And have their expert team review your homeowner's policy. I Will Advisors will review your policy at no charge. Most homeowners never review their policy, but it should be reviewed every year. You commercial property owners, same goes for your property insurance policy. So what are you waiting for? Call I Will Advisors and start saving money. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul
Make sure you guys
Authority.
subscribe if you're not.
Soul Authority. At little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with Attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. The Siegel Law Group, with 9 offices in South Florida, including Boca Raton, Plantation, and Coral Springs. Call 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1. And now, here's Steve Kane.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Third and final hour, 10 minutes after 8. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, broadcasting from the radio station today. And I don't know, we may be back here tomorrow. I don't know what's going on. I won't know until we get off the air. All right, let's go to the phones. We got Jim in New York City. You're on the radio, Jim.
Hey, good morning, Brian. How you doing?
Doing all right, man.
Good. I'm going to talk about the impeachment stuff in a second, but I was just telling Rich Allen, I apologize to him. I was, back in the FTL days, I was the bomber and the screamer guy, and I know I terrorized him back in the day.
Oh, my goodness.
Young and stupid, so I apologize.
That, you weren't the, you're not the one, that's not the twerp, right? There was a,
No, I was the bomber and the screamer.
I remember that, yeah.
Actually, I have tapes of it. I had to send them to you, but yeah.
Yeah.
Good old days. The golden era of talk radio in South Florida.
What, you mean this isn't the golden era with me here?
Well, you guys are the only thing going in South Florida. You're the best.
That's right.
Best nationally.
You know what? You know, Steve is like the last gunfighter. You know.
Yes, you both are, and
Yeah.
The show's great as always.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, the impeachment. You're welcome. The impeachment thing. So last night I'm watching, and you just see Sekulow and Dershowitz and how principled and how strongly, how strong their presentations were. And then in contrast, you see Schiff, who with his buggy eyes and his psychotic look and his being, and he just looks weak, even though he's trying to present himself strong.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a sharp contrast. I think it's a very telling. It's very telling to the American public, whomever was watching.
Well, you know, a couple things. I mean, it's obvious. You know, the most frustrating thing for me with this whole process, and in the beginning, I did not even want to watch the trial, and honestly, I didn't listen to Schiff or Nadler. You know, Nadler looks like the Penguin, Pizza the Hut. I just couldn't listen to them. But what upsets me the most about this entire, following this impeachment trial is how the media are acting as if it's a legitimate process. Even radio talk show hosts are discussing about, even Alan Dershowitz yesterday was on The View and he got shut down by Whoopi Goldberg, and he was citing old case precedent from the 1860s or 50s or something. And I turn on Fox and their analysis is like, well, if you look at the impeachment of Nixon, this is to discuss this as anything other than what it is, a coup, a continuation of the coup, is frustrating to me. This is not a legitimate process, and to have former federal prosecutors and people that were on impeachment panels giving legal analysis, it ticks me off because this is not a legitimate process. And it should be discussed as what it is, a coup.
It's a coup. It's a coup, and it's a sham. And you're right. It's a waste of taxpayer money. It's a waste of time. And it's funny that you mentioned. When I was watching last night, I was watching with my wife, and she's really not that political, and she was listening to Sekulow and Dershowitz. But then when she saw Schiff, she said, "That guy looks weird." I said, "Well, yes, he is. He's crazy."
Yeah, he's not sane.
She made me change the She made me change the channel after 3 minutes of Schiff. Said, "You got to turn this." I said, "Okay."
Well, Schiff to me, Schiff doesn't look sane, and to me, he just kind of reminds me of these. I see some of these people on ID channels sometimes. He just has no empathy for anyone. He has no problem lying to your face. Like for example, when he did the opening statements in his hearing and he made up his own dialogue between President Trump and Zelensky, So, to me, the coup began when they were spying on Trump at Trump Tower. It wasn't a coup yet because he hadn't won, but when Comey went to Trump when he was president-elect with the dossier, and that dossier, people don't talk about what was in the dossier that John McCain got and turned over to the FBI because it's so ridiculous. What this Russian dossier said was this: that President Trump was visiting Moscow. He rented the same hotel room that Obama stayed in. That Donald Trump hired 2 Russian prostitutes to pee on the bed that Obama slept in while he sat in a chair, watched while pleasuring himself. And Putin had videotape of this to use as blackmail material on Donald Trump. That's what the dossier said. That's why they don't talk about the dossier, because it's so absurd. And Comey went to President-elect Trump at Trump Tower, threw that on his desk, and says, you can play ball and this will go away, or we can investigate it. What do you want to do? And that's when the coup officially began. This impeachment is a continuation of it.
The one thing I do like that was brought out, which is a true example of Russian interference, was, you know, when, I forget which attorney, but one of the president's attorneys reminded us of the videotape of Obama saying, "Hey, don't worry, when I get reelected, I'll have a little more leverage."
Not only that, he said he was talking to the I don't know what title he held. The guy, I don't know if he was president or whatever. He says, tell Vlad that I'll have more flexibility after the election. I mean, he was using a nickname for Vladimir Putin. He says, tell Vlad after the election I'll have more flexibility. I could.
Yeah. You remember when that actually happened? If you recall with the media, nothing to see here. Move along.
And even still today. Now, you know, now this is an interesting thing, because you were talking about how you used to be the screamer. You know, used to.
The bomber. Yeah.
Yeah, and people talk about trolls all the time in our chat rooms and live streams and things like this. There have always been trolls. You used to be a troll. You used to call the show and scream at the top of your lungs into the phone. And what else did you do?
Oh yeah, the bomber had the little remember the keychain with the bombing noises and the laser noises.
Yeah,
Back,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. And you do it on the air, and you'd call in like 80 times in a show, screaming, doing all this stuff. How old were you then?
16, 17.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how old are you now?
You know, 45.
45.
45. That's the best. Brian, I got it burned on CD, and I still listen and laugh. It's so juvenile, but oh yeah, we call Steve, Al, Rich Allen.
Yeah.
I called you a couple times. Nat Trigger, everybody.
Yeah.
And it was just, immaturity. It was fun, but you know what the best part was? Not only would I troll and act like an idiot, but I would legitimately listen, because it was the best talk radio I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, I know. I tell people this and they don't believe me. People think that was my first job in radio. I was working at FM radio station and left the FM radio to go and work at AM 1400. And my friends told me I was working at the same station that Sonny Fox was doing morning drive on at the time, which was Waxy. No, it was after Y100, but it was Waxy, which was, I can't remember what that was on the dial, but I wasn't on the air, but eventually I would have been. And I remember all my friends said, are you out of your mind? You're going to go to AM, you're going to run a board, you're over, Sonny Fox is here, and are you out of your mind? And it was a good decision.
Well, you remember actually, Greg Budell ended up on FTL.
That was before my time. Now, those that remember, I'll tell people a quick story. Since Steve's not here, I'll talk about him. So that was before I was at 1400. Greg Budell. 106 was Waxy 106. It was oldies music. Greg Budell, like a South Florida radio legend. His wife was leaving him, and Rich Allen knows the story. And Steve Kane ran into the process server that was delivering Greg Budell divorce papers, and he was waiting for Greg to get off the air to give them to him. When he got off the air and left the studio, Steve brought him in the studio, and he got served divorce papers live on the air. I mean, that's crazy. That's pretty low.
That was the fun of it,
That was crazy.
And, battle the talk.
And keep in mind that Greg Budell had a substance abuse problem back in those days, with the drink and everything. And you take a process server to serve divorce papers live on the radio to someone who's got substance abuse issues back in those days. I mean, that's crazy to do. But that's the kind of guy Steve is,
Didn't Al Rantel come out on the air?
Yeah, those were crazy times. But the only reason I bring this up is because people think trolling is new, with the live streams and the chat rooms. I've been dealing with troll. The crazy thing is, though, you've grown up. You were 16, you're 45, or whatever you are now. There are people that still troll me that have been trolling that were like in their 30s back then, and now they're in their 60s and 70s. And they still try to troll me and stalk me and do the difference is you grew up, and one difference between you and them, and this is so true. There are people that have been trolling me for 25 or 30 years. It absolutely amazes me. The difference is between you and them is not just that you grew up and they didn't. You're a conservative and they're Democrats. And there's something about Democrats that puts them in this arrested development stage where they never mature.
They don't mature. Look I'm 5 minutes from work right now. They're home doing nothing. Most of the day. Look at Al. He's a prime example of what you're talking about.
I know, that's just sad.
But arrested development, that's a great term for him.
Yeah. All right, appreciate the call. Thanks so much. All right, you have a great day.
Have a great day.
All right, yeah, I know, we run it. All right, listen, we'll take our break. When we get back, there's more to share. All right, I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. That's right. We'll take a break and be right back.
Homeowners, would you like to save money each and every month? Of course you would. We all want to save more money. But how? By calling I Will Advisors. That's how. At 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. And have their expert team review your homeowner's policy. I Will Advisors will review your policy at no charge. Most homeowners never review their policy, but it should be reviewed every year. You commercial property owners, same goes for your property insurance policy. So what are you waiting for? Call I Will Advisors and start saving money. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show. Valentine's Day is on a Friday this year, which is very unusual, right? Only happens every 7 years. Valentine's Day, when it falls on a weekend, that's the best because you can really go out and enjoy yourself because you don't have to get up in the morning and go to work the next day. And Tavolino's Italian restaurant in Coral Springs, which is just a spectacular restaurant, are having a very, very special Valentine's Day dinner. There's going to be live music, specialty dishes, and it's just going to be a great, perfect, romantic place to take your Valentine for Valentine's dinner. Tavolino's in Coral Springs. But, here's the thing, though. This is a reservations event. And since Valentine's Day falls on a Friday this year, you want to reserve your table. You want to do it quick. So you can find Tavolino's at stevekaneshow.com. And let me get you the number here. Since I'm at the radio station, I don't have all my stuff where I normally have. Call for reservations, 954-509-0046, 954-509-0046. Make your reservations for Valentine's Day at Tavolino's in Coral Springs. You'll be glad you did, okay? It's a perfect place to go for Valentine's Day. All right, now, we've been talking about John Bolton's whole life has been destroyed this week. His $2 million book deal is done. He's been told by the White House he cannot publish his book. He made a $2 million deal. What I don't know is if that was in advance. Did he get all of it, part of it? Does he have to give it back? They said his book is filled with too much information that is classified top secret. So they've stopped the book. And the reason they stopped the book is because of everything that's been going on this week. And they're pissed off at him for not correcting the record and floating untruths about the president in Ukraine and quid pro quo to sell books. So they stopped the book sale. Well, if that was not enough, oh my goodness. Now listen to this. John Bolton was accused of harassing a government contractor by chasing her through a hotel. Oh my goodness. And, when these stories happen, there's a photograph of the woman. And she's not somebody you want to be accused of chasing through a hotel when you look at her. But it's really not fair to John Bolton because this was a number of years ago, and I think this is a somewhat recent photograph, so she probably was younger, a lot thinner, and everything back then. But let me read this story. And this is all happening because of what he did with this New York Times. See, his publishers gave a manuscript of John Bolton's book, supposedly, to the New York Times to pump up pre-orders of the book that's not supposed to be released until March. And they've destroyed the book, and now they're destroying the life of John Bolton. Listen to this. John Bolton, during a 2005 Senate confirmation process, was accused by a female government contractor of harassing her relentlessly, chasing her around a hotel, criticizing her weight, and hinting that she was a lesbian. Melody Townsell described his behavior in an 2005 letter to the Senate Foreign Relations Committee when he was under consideration for the UN ambassador position. She said this: Mr. Bolton proceeded to chase me through the halls of a Russian hotel. Everything's about Russia, right? Throwing things at me, shoving, threatening letters under my door, and generally behaving like a madman, she wrote back in 2005. John Bolton hounded me in such an appalling way that I eventually retreated to my hotel room and stayed there. Mr. Bolton then routinely visited me to pound on the door and shout threats through the door. And John, I mean, this sounds like, you know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like someone very drunk, in a hotel. John Bolton made unconscionable comments about my weight, my wardrobe, to a couple of team leaders. He discussed my sexuality, hinting that I was a lesbian. She says, for the record, I am not a lesbian. The two interacted in 1994 when she was working on a project in the post-Soviet Republic of Kazakhstan, and John Bolton was hired by her firm as legal counsel. At the time of the incident, Bolton worked in the private sector. He's denied the allegations. And they came out during 2005. I mean, this is so he's lost his $2 million book deal. He's got a Me Too thing going on now. John Bolton's life, I mean, it really shows you when you say things that aren't true for profit, this is what happens to you, right? When you take on Trump. All right, let's go to the phones. We got John. No, we lost him. Okay, well, call back. That's okay. We're at the radio station today, so things are a little off. When you call, you don't get me on the phone. Rich Allen's answering the phones, and a little glitchy today. That's okay. If we may be here tomorrow, Rich. I don't know. Well, I won't know till after 9. I got to make some calls and find out what's going on, because when things happen at 6 in the morning, you don't know what's going on. So anyway, John, and then he's got Trump after him. And, the thing with John Bolton is he is someone that conservatives have just loved for as long as George Bush has been around, right? Because George Bush wanted him to be the UN ambassador, and the left just wouldn't have it. And he's been beloved by conservatives. And for the last 15 years, he's been an invited speaker. CPAC's coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if he was not at CPAC a time or two. He used to be on Fox all the time. I saw him on Outnumbered all the time. And now he has alienated the people that were supporting him because of all the abuse he had taken by the left, lost his $2 million book deal. He's got this woman claiming this harassment against her. It's just, Trump always wins. Trump always wins. All right, let's go. That's right. Let's try John again. John, you're on the radio.
Hi, Brian. How you doing, man?
All right.
That Bolton book, it really annoys the living daylights out of me. These guys, Trump, invites them to work and so forth. Things don't work out. They get annoyed. They start writing these outrageous books. Bad news, man. I don't know why people do this.
Wait till Mike. What money? Money.
Yeah, but something, after a while, if you have any kind of common sense, decency, and protocol, which these guys supposedly should have, you wouldn't betray another guy. I mean, I'm a business guy. I have issues with guys. We get mad at each other.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we say terrible things to each other. But the bottom line is, when you go back out there, you don't do the dirty laundry. That's just common sense.
Well, Yeah, but you're not being offered $2 million to spread the dirty laundry. That's different.
Well, what goes around comes around.
Well, John Bolton's learning that right now, isn't he? And I don't care what they say in the news. Trump stopped the book. Trump stopped the book. That's no doubt about it. And he should have. Screw him. Look what he's doing.
Yeah. I don't know. You've been working with Steve for forever. And if you two guys decided to get, angry at each other, who knows what? I don't think. I think if you were approached in media, I just don't have a feeling you would totally trash Steve or he would totally trash you. You might say, hey, we have differences of opinions and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
You have protocol, And if the Sun Sentinel would say, hey, listen, we'll pay you whatever, I don't think you'd do it. I just don't think you would.
Oh, okay. So you're saying if somebody offered me $2 million to write a tell-all book about Steve Kane, you think I would turn down the $2 million?
Well, something? Maybe you would probably get in touch with Steve and say, Steve, listen, I got a chance to make $2 million if I dish you. Can we work it out together?
Oh, I think Steve would do that. I think Steve would say, take the money and, yeah.
That creepy cow.
I think Steve would tell me to take the $2 million and give him a commission. That's what I think.
That's right. All right. So now you might want to work it out, and the heck with the creepy media that's trying to get dirt on everything all the time. Well, that would be a different story. I don't think that's happening here because Trump doesn't need any money like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, here's the thing about everything that's going on here. Okay, with John Bolton. See, I don't think what the New York Times reported was in the Bolton book. I think it was fake news. It was either fake news that they made up or the publisher gave some false information to the New York Times to get buzz going about the book. And John Bolton made a conscious decision. I was talking about this on the show Monday. This is going to be I said on Monday morning, I said by 10 o'clock, if he's not corrected this, John Bolton has made a decision to let this story lay out there so that he can sell more pre-orders of his book. And he desperately would like to be called because if he was called as a witness, he'd be the center of the whole world, and the pre-sales of his book that he makes royalties off of would skyrocket to levels that pre-orders may never have seen on a political book on Amazon. And he sold out for money, and it's destroyed him. Now there's no book, and all those pre-orders can be refunded, and they very well may be immediately. And about those pre-orders, I'm always very suspicious. I remember during the Kavanaugh hearings, these witnesses all of a sudden had GoFundMe campaigns and things like this going on and raising all kinds of crazy amounts of money. That's how they pay off people these days, is through GoFundMe and book deals,
Yeah, you just kind of hope. And yesterday you guys were talking about Steve had an idea why, and I'm digressing a hair, but I'm going to get back.
That's okay. You can digress.
He said, hey, I think Joe Biden is losing because people are getting hip to the corruption. And then you took a little bit of an alternative view and your hypothesis as to why things are changing around. And then you got into the corruption of how they're going to be running the numbers. But overall, and I've given up on this, that the American public, if you hate Donald Trump, is there enough truth to make you vote with him? And I just don't think this country is there yet. The divisiveness is too great. I think, the left will vote for Hillary Clinton if she...
Well, I got to tell you, I mentioned this to Steve yesterday. I don't have time because, by the way, have you called before? You don't call often because your voice doesn't sound familiar, but you seem pretty hip on our whole life stories here.
Well, I don't call. I don't really call. No, I decided to. Let me give it. I like Steve Kane. He's been around a long time.
Yeah.
And, you guys do a nice job.
Yeah.
But let me give it a call, see if I can get through.
Yeah, of course you can get through. But the thing with the Bolton book and everything, Trump always wins. There was never any doubt in my mind from day one that he was going to be acquitted. I don't think it's come on, it's no shocker here. He's going to win. And John Bolton made a decision. He sold out for money, and he took a gamble, and he lost.
Yeah, right.
And this story about this woman in the hotel, he sounds like he's got a drinking problem to behave that way. There's going to probably, if he doesn't start playing ball soon with the Democrats or some. You'll probably hear more women. That's not something a man does once. Runs through a hotel in Russia, banging on a woman's door at night for days. Come on.
Right. All this garbage. All I'm hoping is that whether you're left, I know the right are going to vote for Donald Trump no matter what. The left are going to vote for, Joe Biden or Bernie or whatever. It doesn't matter. All we have, all common sense and the good, the right direction. All we have is that undecided middle. That's all we've got.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I think they have more brains than the lefties. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, listen, appreciate the call. Thanks so much, John. All right, take care. All right, well, let's talk to Janet Cimarelli over at Save-A-Lot Nutrition Center with the health report this morning. Hey, Janet, how you doing?
And a good morning to you. Okay.
I may need to get some. I'm using a community microphone. I don't know whose mouth has been up to this microphone, so I might have to stop on over to Save-A-Lot and get something to boost my immune system since I'm using this community microphone at the radio station today.
Oh, okay. So we have so many things to boost your immune system, and this is something everybody needs to be so aware of, just in view of the time of year, the changing weather, and what we hear on the news about viruses spreading like crazy. So vitamin D, critically important, and silver. So you make sure that when you leave the radio station, you wash your hands, and wash around your nose and your mouth. Soap and water, hot water, and do it for a long enough time.
Yeah.
They say, happy birthday to you, sing that to yourself. Then there is Anti-V, a very, very special blend of herbs that are so supportive of your immune system and actually able to fight off viruses. So come on over to Save-A-Lot because absolutely I can help you support your immune system.
Absolutely. All right, Jenna. Well, Save-A-Lot is located in Margate, just south of Sample Road on the west side of 441 State Road 7 in the former Penn Dutch Plaza. What's the number to call you, Janet?
Okay, easy to find Save-A-Lot, 754-307-1655. 754-307-1655. They'll be happy to give you directions, and I will be there today from 11 to 3. So come on in, bring your blood work, bring your list of medications. All of those things we can review and establish what your health priorities might be.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Janet. We'll talk tomorrow.
We will. Have a great day.
All right. Take care. Janet Cimarelli over at Save-A-Lot. Coming up December 6th is our Steve Kane Trump 2020 Victory Cruise on the Celebrity Edge. And if you go to SteveKaneShow.com, there's two videos I put right there at the top for you guys to check out. The video of our last cruise where we went to the Cayman Islands and Mexico. And I got to tell you, go and watch that video first of our last cruise and see the kind of great times that we have. And we filmed when we went to the Mayan ruins. And I got to tell you, I was with my daughter. She was with us. That was one of the best days of my life when we went to the Mayan ruins. We had such a great time. And, each cruise, we have more and more people that join us. We built up this cruise family of Trump people. And our Trump 2020 Victory Cruise leaves December 6th for 7 days on the Celebrity Edge out of Fort Lauderdale. We are Fort Lauderdale. We're going to San Juan, St. Martin, and the British Virgin Islands. And it's just going to be a great time. And it's nice to spend a week with not just our cruise family that grows each and every time we do a cruise, but with like-minded Trump people. And we had, on our last cruise, when we went to Mexico, a lot of our people I'm wearing my Trump gear into Mexico. And we go to leave the ship to go to the Mayan ruins. And some of our people, they were wearing Trump shirts and Trump hats. And I had my daughter and I was like, I don't know, we're going to Mexico. And we put my daughter and I put our Trump hats in a backpack. And there was a lot of our people had Trump shirts on. I'm like, I don't know. And there was one guy with us who, he's in the oil business. He owns oil wells in Colorado and in Texas. and he was wearing a Trump hat. He said, Trump 2020, no more, BS. And this guy used to play for the NFL. He was a big guy. So we wore our Trump gear, and we went to the Mayan ruins, which were about an hour from the ship in the jungles of Mexico. And we were walking around the Mayan ruins in our Trump shirts and our Trump hats, and we got pictures on the Mayan pyramids and everything. And it was, as much as this surprised me, it's a very interesting thing because of what goes on in the media. A couple of Mexican people came up to us and said, "Oh, nice shirt, nice." I was shocked because when they started to come up to us with the Trump gear, I thought, "Oh gosh, here we go," and we're out in the jungle. We're in trouble now. And the people that come across the border, most of them are not Mexican. But it's like in this country, there's a divide, and what I learned when we were in Mexico on the last cruise is in Mexico, people they don't like these caravans going through their country, and they also don't like the reputation and stereotype they get as Mexicans and as a country, Mexico. And I found nothing but love and positivity from Mexicans towards Trump. I had a Trump flag, Trump 2020, that I was going to bring on the cruise. And before we left, I was telling my wife a couple days before I was packing, I was like, I'm going to take that flag. And when we get to the Mayan pyramids, I'm going to take a picture with the flag with our group holding the flag of the Mayan pyramids. It'll be like we conquered Mexico. And I was joking with her, but I was going to bring the flag. And then when I was packing, I couldn't find the flag, and I gave up. And I said, I must have put it somewhere. And I realized my wife hid the flag from me because she was afraid for me to take the Trump flag. It was a full-size flag into Mexico because as soon as I got home, it was there waiting for me. But we dealt with a lot of Mexicans deep in Mexico. An hour from the ship in the jungles is pretty far away, and it's not, don't believe these stereotypes you hear about what's going on the border. They don't like it any more than we do. So go to SteveKaneShow.com, watch the tour of the last cruise. You'll see what a great, I know we talk about all the things that we do, but when you see that video, I did the filming, my wife did the editing. You'll see what a great time we have and what a great group of people that join us. And also, but watch that video first. And right underneath that at SteveKaneShow.com, I took a tour recently with some of our listeners that go with us on the cruises. And Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot, I took a tour of the Celebrity Edge here in Fort Lauderdale. And the second video is of the Celebrity Edge. I have been taking cruises since 1989. My first cruise was in 1989 out of Miami. It's 31 years of cruising. I've been on a lot of cruise ships, and my best friend before I was married, he worked at a cruise line, and we used to take cruises all the time. And I didn't have to pay. I just had to pay port charges because he worked for the cruise line. I have been on, I don't even know how many cruises. I've been on so many cruises, including our great cruises. And the Celebrity Edge is the most advanced cruise ship on the ocean today. It's a brand new ship. And when I tell you the most advanced, I'm not kidding. It blew my mind away. And you can watch the tour of that ship. And, of course, it's incredibly luxurious. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot and join us. It's almost a year out, right? Because we leave December 6th, which is, I believe, it's a Sunday. And, I think it's a Sunday. And then we come back the following Sunday. And it's just going to be a great time. We have dinner together every night. Those of you that have been on our past cruises, we are revamping everything we do on this trip. We're going to redo all the activities and update them, and we have a lot of activities planned all day, all night. It's going to be a great time. It's the Trump 2020 Victory Cruise, the Steve Kane Trump 2020 Victory Cruise. And you get to hang out with me and Steve Kane, all of our great listeners, and it's just going to be a great time. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. He'll go through all of the details with you. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779 for the Steve Kane Trump 2020 Victory Cruise. Everyone is invited except Al the John. Al the John. And when I say that, I'm not kidding. I know his name, his real name and everything, and I told Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot he is not permitted to book in our group. It's a private group. And but everybody else in the listening audience is invited. So go to stevekaneshow.com, watch the video of our previous cruise, and then watch the tour of the Celebrity Edge we're going on December 6th. And then call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot and make a reservation. All right, it's time to check in with William Youngerman for this morning's Gold Report. Hey, William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. We are actually broadcasting right down the street from your office this morning. We're at the radio station today.
Oh, okay.
So just a couple blocks from you.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I can see your building actually out the window. I can.
Yeah.
That's how close we are. So how are the markets doing today?
Markets are doing okay. Yesterday we had a nice bounce upward on gold and silver, with gold jumping $10.40 on the close at $1,576.40. Silver closed up 9 cents yesterday, closing at $17.52 the ounce, while platinum was down $11 at $975, and palladium was up $16 at $21.93. Still staying in our trading ranges, a little bit higher end of the trading ranges now. Resistance still gold at about $15.80, silver resisting the $18 number, but gold is up another $1.90 this morning at $1,578.30. We did get over $15.80 earlier this morning. Silver was up 30 cents, or is up 30 cents right now at $17.82 the ounce. Silver, a bargain in relationship to gold right now, trading at about a 90-to-1 ratio. Platinum down $5 right now at $970 the ounce, while palladium is down $15 at $2,178. So gold trading in that post $1,580 range.
Yeah, and Valentine's Day being right around the corner, William Youngerman has a great collection of jewelry and watches that are at incredible prices that would be perfect Valentine's Day gifts for whoever is on your Valentine's Day gift-giving list. Give William Youngerman's office a call, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, online, williamyoungerman.com, and, of course, located in Boca Raton on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, William Youngerman, we will talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care. Yeah, now we only have a few minutes left here. So, I know people are getting very excited that Trump's going to be acquitted this week. No doubt about that. He's going to be acquitted. But they're going to come back at him with something else. This is how the Democrats are. Think about it. They had the FISA warrant that faded away, turned into the Mueller investigation. President Trump was cleared twice in the Mueller probe. One time, the first time Trump was acquitted was when the report itself was released. And then Mueller testified to Congress, and he was, I don't know if he was bumbling and incoherent or if he was playing a game, but Mueller cleared him again. He was completely cleared by Mueller in his testimony and the report. They had Stormy Daniels. That went nowhere. And you know what? Even in these House hearings, every witness that Schiff and Nadler brought up cleared Trump. The lady ambassador, the guy ambassador, the Colonel Vindman, they all cleared him each and every time, and they keep coming back. So when Trump is acquitted, if it's this week, if it's next week, if Trump is acquitted, they're just going to come back at him with something else. It will never end with these people. They're going to continue to come after him because that's what they do. So when we have a victory, it's going to be very, very short-lived. I want to mention a couple quick things here, though, before we go, that I would have spent more time on, but we got sidetracked in all this impeachment, Mayor Pete Buttigieg's campaign did something that was so strange this week. And listen to this. Pete Buttigieg campaign aides sent out a survey to non-white staffers seeking examples of microaggressions. Now listen to this. Is all millennial language. I don't understand all of these words and phrases, but we'll see if we can figure it out. Listen to this. The Pete Buttigieg campaign sent a survey to staffers of color seeking examples of microaggressions in the workplace. A questionnaire sent out by Buttigieg aide Raven Hollins asked non-white campaign workers if they have ever been confused with another staffer of color. Now, let me tell you, I am so bad with names. There are people that I have literally known for years, and I don't know what their name is, that I come in contact with at work and things like this. But what they're trying to say is that white people can't tell black people and brown people apart, that they all look alike. And of course, that's only true with Asian people. But anyway, it says ethnic minority staffers were also asked. Is that a microaggression, Rich Allen? I don't know. Might be. No, that's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. Nobody looks alike. Anyway, ethnic minority staffers were also asked if they had ever been interrupted. Come on. Now, so if you've ever been interrupted and you're a person of color, as they're calling you here, you have been a victim of a microaggression. They asked campaign workers of color if they've ever been left out of a relevant meeting or an email chain, had a suggestion ignored by them for no good reason, or had someone else take credit for their idea. So this is basically what everybody deals with at work: getting interrupted, not getting invited to a meeting, having someone else take credit for your work. But if you're non-white, you are now a victim of racism. And you know what's interesting about this survey is that people that work for Mayor Pete Buttigieg are the most liberal people you could imagine in our society today, right? He's a left-wing Democrat who's openly gay, and he's a millennial. So his staffers are very, very liberal. Why would they have to conduct such a survey with a liberal campaign staff, right? All this racism and everything and sexism and discrimination against people of color is something that's done by conservatives, not liberal. This is like some liberal paradise on the Pete Buttigieg campaign. Why do they suspect that their liberal white team, and the survey was billed as a chance to educate white colleagues working on the Buttigieg campaign? It was sent out just a day before a building belonging event where Pete Buttigieg staffers voiced a series of frustrations about the campaign, the New York Times reported. At the meeting on January 2nd, staffers raised concerns about the departure of non-white colleagues and the difficulties of hiring a diverse team. Some staffers voiced anger over Pete for America's link to controversial attorney Steve Patton, which sparked a widespread backlash last year. Steve Patton had previously lobbied to block the release of a video depicting the police shooting black teenager Laquan McDonald in Chicago. The Buttigieg campaign returned Patton's campaign contributions, removed him as a co-sponsor of a fundraiser after this. At the staff session, some workers reportedly claimed that their warnings about Patton's involvement had fallen on deaf ears. Pete Buttigieg aides say the belonging sessions were safe and honest spaces to talk about how they can make the campaign and Democrat politics as a whole more inclusive. Workers on the Hillary campaign took part in similar meetings in 2016, they say. The Buttigieg camp says it wants to include people of different backgrounds and viewpoints in every major decision. We see, now this is another thing too about these liberals. Okay, so what is, Pete Buttigieg here? They want to be more inclusive with people of color, which is fine. I'm not opposed to diversity, but no matter how diverse Pete Buttigieg's campaign is, there's one thing that will not be diverse, and if he goes on to become president, God forbid, no matter how diverse his staff is, his cabinet is, he'll still be a white guy. And as much of champions of diversity as they want to be, Pete Buttigieg has been advocating for women and blacks not to become president. Pete Buttigieg has been advocating that he should be president, not Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, and Elizabeth Warren, who's a woman, and you can go through the whole list. So, Pete Buttigieg only wants so much diversity, and it's so interesting how what they're actually talking about doing here is laying people off and hiring people of color to make it more diverse, but he's still going to be the white guy. So if Pete Buttigieg really, really cares about diversity, he should drop out of the race and advocate for a person of color to be the nominee of the Democrat Party. But you know what's going to happen? He's not going to get the nomination, and he's going to back whoever the nominee is. And it's not going to be Andrew Yang, and it's not going to be Tulsi Gabbard. It's going to be Biden, Elizabeth Warren, or Bernie Sanders. So as much of a champion as diversity as he is when it comes to getting rid of staffers, when it gets down to the end, he's going to be endorsing a white person, probably a white man. And, diversity only goes so far among these Democrats. When it comes after their job or their position, well, that's where we want to have, we want to have the best candidate, the diversity stops right there. Now, this one last thing, which I'm not going to talk too much about because we're almost out of time, and I got to get busy to find out what was going on at our studio that led me to be up here at the radio station today. So I'm itching to get off the air so I can get everything taken care of this morning. This other story, we'll probably talk more about this later, tomorrow or something, or on my podcast later. Elizabeth Warren wants to put people in jail who spread misinformation online, okay? And, of course, for her, that's been spreading misinformation about her ethnicity her entire adult life, about being a Native American. It's amazing to me when she says this, she's got the cheers, so if someone says something that's not true, who decides whether or not it's true? When it comes to politics, most everything that is voiced is an opinion. There's very little fact when you're in a political campaign. The only true facts come like if you're listing accomplishments, like, that an individual has done. So what Elizabeth Warren is telling us is that she is going to be the decider of truth. And if she, the problem liberals have, if they disagree with you, they don't think that you and they have a disagreement. They think you're lying, right? They think you're lying. Like if we talk about, that idiot that called earlier about climate change, Alva John, it's their reality. And if you don't agree with them about climate change, you're a climate denier. You're spreading lies. Remember, NBC has said they will not have climate deniers on, people that question climate scientists. Lawrence O'Donnell says he will not have Trump supporters on because they lie. And he's not going to have liars on the show. So, we're entering this very scary phase with these Democratic socialists. And Elizabeth Warren is one, even though she's a multimillionaire, that are looking to decide what is truth and what is not truth. And if you say something that they've decided that is not truth, they want to imprison you. I mean, is that America? I mean, and what's frightening about it is that doesn't alarm a lot of people. Yesterday I got a call on the air early in the show from this guy, and he said, Trump hasn't proved his innocence in this trial. And I told him, I said, in America, you're presumed innocent. You don't prove your innocence. The prosecution has to prove your guilt. You're presumed innocent. And he didn't even know that. And, and he's a grown man, and what goes on in the country today in the education system is they're not teaching these, basic rights and freedoms that we have. And they don't teach the Bill of Rights. They don't teach what the country is all about. And you have an entire generation of millennials. And millennials are not young. Millennials are, Pete Buttigieg is in his 30s. He's a millennial. So, millennials are pushing 40 years old. That's middle-aged. They're not kids. So you have a generation of people that are approaching middle age that don't understand our basic rights and liberties, and that's why they're so easily and applauding when they're being taken away. Anyway, listen, we're all out of time for today. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. regardless of what happens today. My name's Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show. Don't forget Wings Plus, State of the Union night. Come meet me and Steve Kane. We will be at Wings Plus for the State of the Union. Dr. Janae Lamaski will be joining us, Steve told me, and that'll be Tuesday night. Wings Plus is located in Coral Springs, about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road. That's State of the Union night. They've got big TVs there. We'll be watching them on the big TVs. You are all invited. My name's Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Take care, everyone.